Yesterday, a ton of X-Men Marvel stories were sweeping over the internet. I want to talk about all of the different stories, including some late-breaking ones that really surprised me. And I want to just talk to you guys about what I think is actually going on with the X-Men when it comes to the MCU. What's up, everybody? It's Josh. Use your mutant powers to smash the like button. And let's get right into this video. Look, I'm going to be real. Of course, things are getting weird. The world is in a weird place, and also news is very sparse right now. So people are speculating and picking up on all sorts of different things. Now, yesterday was quite strange because people found out that Disney had put X-Men graphics that you could have as your avatar on Disney Plus. If you're not aware, your profile on Disney Plus has a cool little avatar on it, and they announced a bunch of new ones that are X-Men avatars. And because of the avatars coming out on Disney Plus, they're spun out all of these different stories. Most of them speculation. Most of these stories were just people speculating about what could possibly be happening, right? Now, I will admit it is a little strange that Disney Plus would just do that out of nowhere. There's just a bunch of new X-Men icons, but I personally didn't think it really meant much at all. I didn't really watch many videos or check out many articles about it. I was just like, okay, cool. Disney Plus put some new X-Men stuff out for the profiles on Disney Plus. Meaningless. However, some people that I do actually respect in the industry did comment on this and had some very interesting things to say. First of all, MCU Cosmics' Jeremy Conrad talked about this and how he believed it wasn't meaningless, and he did refer that in late 2019 there were articles talking about how the X-Men animated series show creators did pitch a revival to Kevin Feige. Now, what ended up happening with Jeremy and with a lot of these other people is, look, we all thought it was meaningless. The avatars coming out, we thought it was meaningless. But Jeremy, along with many other people, just reached out to sources anyways. I mean, look, we're all looking for stuff to do anyway, so there's a rabbit hole to go down, right? And so what Jeremy reported is there is something X-Men going on. That's true, but there was already something X-Men going on, right? Feige's actively working on creating the X-Men for the MCU, which we'll get into in a little bit with Grace Randolph's scoop and the possibility of live-action Disney Plus X-Men shows. But Jeremy went down the rabbit hole on this and basically came up with the fact that there could be a revival of the 90s X-Men show that is possibly being done. And remember, guys, there was going to be a big announcement at the end of March about Disney Plus. It is possible that Disney was planning on announcing the revival of the X-Men animated series, even though it's probably far from actually coming out. They were probably going to announce it, let the new avatars come out, and sort of just build hype, maybe get more people to check out Disney Plus, as the 90s X-Men cartoon is on Disney Plus, and that's a big draw for people. Another thing that Jeremy speculated about was the idea of bringing all of the Fox X-Men films over to Disney Plus. That could be really cool. They're already available in some countries like Australia, so maybe that's what it was tied to, right? But what I think is actually going on is just there was obviously X-Men stuff going down. The Avatar thing, because there's news is so slow, caused people to freak out and be like, okay, what's going on? He then searched for it, found out there was some stuff going on. But that leads us then to the scoop from Grace Randolph. Grace was, again, just like Jeremy, heard about this and then went digging. And what she found was very interesting. She reports that there are X-Men live action series being developed for Disney Plus, that this is sort of a hint as to what Kevin Feige wants to do with the X-Men going into Disney Plus. Now, we went over this as a community over on the live streaming channel, which we live stream on at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time every day, Monday through Friday, over on our live streaming channel. I suggest you go check that video out if you want to check out the replay and see what people were saying in chat and all of that. But I'll go over a few of the things we talked about. Number one, I think it's very possible that Kevin Feige does do some of the X-Men characters in Disney Plus shows, and there are a couple of different reasons why. Number one, it's starting to get really freaking crowded as far as movies go over at Marvel Studios. They're already doing like 4 movies a year. Things are getting crunched right now with the delays, but literally you're looking at 4 movies a year, which is a ton, right? But you're also looking at putting in some of the biggest franchises ever into these slots. And so there's not a lot of time to maybe do a solo Gambit movie or do a Rogue movie or do a Wolverine movie. That might not be big enough to justify taking up one of the potential 4 slots of MCU movies per year. And so because of that, you could see a scenario in which Feige's like, hey, let's start to develop the mutants over on Disney Plus and start working on them in solo series, and then possibly have them recruited by Charles Xavier and then do the X-Men movie. Because we already know Feige is really looking at building connective tissue between the projects on Disney Plus and what ends up coming in the movie theaters. He's already doing this, right? They want WandaVision to roll right into Doctor Strange 2. So because there's just so much content coming out, the movies need to be very special. I could see a scenario in which they're developing these live action shows and then putting them in a big movie eventually. So that makes sense. There's also this fact, guys, that Disney Plus and digital just looks to be a much bigger part of the pie moving forward. This was already going to be the case, but with obviously what's going on in the world and entertainment right now, seems like it's going to accelerate that. Things were probably already going the way of digital, but it really looks to be accelerated. And so what you're watching digitally at home on Disney Plus is eventually, and maybe sooner rather than later, become just as valuable to you and important in your media consumption schedule as going to the theater. So when you consider the amazing amount of content that Marvel Studios has coming out, the fact that their movie slots are limited and need to be big movies that can bring in a ton of money, the fact that they are actively working on building connective tissue between Disney Plus and their movies already, and the fact that digital is looking to be a much bigger part of the pie for media companies, all of these things just kind of work together to make the idea of doing live action X-Men series leading into a film much more viable. But let me just say again, none of this actually has to do with those avatars. I don't think those avatars mean anything, but they did come out at a time when news is incredibly slow and they sent some people down the rabbit hole, and down that rabbit hole, we did find some stuff out. So it is possible we are getting a revival of the 90s animated cartoon, and maybe, just maybe, those avatars were supposed to come out along with an announcement about that to build hype for the X-Men show. Maybe that's possible. There's also the possibility that the X-Men movies from Fox are coming out to Disney Plus very soon, and that the avatars were lined up for that, even though I don't think so. And also, Grace Randolph is reporting that due to the avatars, she went digging and found out that live-action X-Men shows might be in the works. So that's what's officially out there. I definitely want to know what you think about this, Marvel fan. Would you be okay with X-Men shows coming out on Disney Plus? Does that seem ridiculous to you? And what do you think about a revival of the 90s X-Men cartoon? Would you love it? Would you hate it? Do you think it's right around the corner or probably a far way off? Whatever you're thinking, let us know in the comment section below. Now let's shout out Trusty Rusty 513. Indeed, Legend of the Guardians, The Owls of Ga'Hoole was the animated movie that Zack Snyder did. So shout out to you, Trusty Rusty. And now let's ask another nerd card question before we get out of here. I want to know, the character of Sasquatch in Marvel Comics belongs to what super team? That's right, Sasquatch is totally a character, actually inspired by the Hulk's experiments. A doctor turns himself into Sasquatch, and then he joins a super team. What's the name of the super team that Sasquatch is on in Marvel Comics? Answer that question in the comment section below. If you absolutely need more nerdy content in your life, click or tap over here to check out some of our videos. You can also check out our live streams every morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time over on our live streaming channel. You can like this video if you like it. If you want to take your support to the next level, join the list of awesome people you see below and consider checking out our Patreon for some behind-the-scenes content. And as I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.